Hey, what's cracking, everybody? On this video, we're going to be doing a preview of version 3.0.9 that I will be releasing in October. So there's going to be quite a few changes on there. I am in the process of working a lot of things out because it's going to be a lot of customizations that I have to put in place. But one of the biggest customizations that I am going to be doing is you're seeing right here on this screen right now. So basically, everything looks the same right here as far as the installer itself. But there is one more button, and the button says Update Prime Installer. Now, essentially, what this button is going to do is going to check to see, just in case if there's any errors during the installation. And if I'm alerted about the errors, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the scripts basically on a server, and you'll be able to just update it with this button right here. So basically that way you won't have to download a new ISO or anything like that. You would just be able to click this button right here, and it would basically update the installer itself. It will remove the files that are corrupted or wherever the error is being caused is going to be removed by this button here, and then it'll fix the installer so you can continue with the installation. Now, of course, if I don't know about the error, then the button is not going to work. You know what I mean? So I am in a process also of setting up a link to where I can be alerted of errors. That way I can update the script and it'll be ready for being updated. So like I said, this is a preview right now of one of the things that's coming in version 3.0.9 with the LinuxHub installer. So essentially, with that ISO, my goal is to where you will never have to download another ISO again from LinuxHub, because you'll be able to just update the installer itself, kind of making it an immutable installer, for a lack of better words. And that is my goal with LinuxHub, is to make it to where if it breaks, I can update it, and you can just update it by clicking this button. So right now I'll give you a preview. So I'll click on the button, and it'll download my script, and it says right now checking for LinuxHub Prime updates. Of course, the LinuxHub Prime installer is currently up to date, so there's no issues with it. And returning to Prime installer, so it'll just take you back to the installer. Now, if there was an update, then basically what that script would do is it would put all the updates in motion, download the files that it needs to, and replace the files that are broken. And that way you could continue with the installation. And also another thing that I'm going to do with this also is that I can even add other desktop environments to where the updater can be installed. It could be updated, and it would add even more desktop environments. So like I said, it's just, I'm working on it. It's something, I'm the only developer on this project right here. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of back and forth. And I told myself that, just installing the ISOs, rebuilding the ISO, installing ISO, checking for errors here and there. It's time consuming. It's very time consuming. I'm talking about hours upon hours upon hours. And this right here is just going to make it all that much more easier. Of course, ISOs will still be updated because, there's other things like Arch ISO and the way the script works that will have to be, But as far as the installer is concerned, this is supposed to make it to where it could be automatically updated if there is an error, and it should be able to install the system. So my goal is to make an immutable installer. That is my goal. And that is the project that I am really working on right now, is to make an installer that if it breaks, it could be updated and you could continue on with the installation. Because believe me, I know how it feels to have these headaches of downloading the ISO and it not working. It is a headache. So that is going to be my goal right here. Some of the other changes are, of course, it's going to be like it's going to be making it more streamlined to install AUR packages and things like that. So there's quite a few changes, like I said. And the desktop I focus the most on is obviously the open box desktop. That's the desktop that I use. That's the desktop that I really put all the meat into. Now, of course, I do check the rest of the desktops on here also, but I mainly focus on the open box. So my goal is to create an open box environment that works just like a regular desktop environment, and it just works, plainly. Because if you install OpenBox by itself and you boot into the window manager, all you have is a black screen. You have to build it yourself. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of like creating a desktop using the OpenBox window manager. I'm creating my own desktop that's going to be, it's going to work like a regular desktop. Obviously, I mean, it already does, but it's going to have all of the functions of a regular desktop. That is my main goal with the OpenBox. But like I said, I mean, you have everything right here. You have Awesome, Budgie, BSPWN, Cinnamon, GNOME, Hyperlin, Mate, KDE Plasma, Qtile, XFCE. Or if you just want to use Arch install and just build it yourself, you can do that also. We have the installer guide right here. And of course, what's coming now is going to be the update prime installer. So this is what I'm putting a lot of work into, and this is what I'm working. This is my goal right here. This is when I want to get started and push very hard, because like I said, this way, if the installer for some reason breaks, you could just reboot the ISO and then click on this button, and in theory, it should just fix everything and you could continue on with your installation. And like I said, if I decide to add even more desktops, I can do it with this updater. Basically, this updater right now is in place, and I'll probably upload this ISO so that everyone can preview it. And basically, you can preview things as I'm working on it. You can see the work in progress as I'm moving along with it. And like I said, this is going to be the big release for version 3.0.9, is to where you could just update it directly from the ISO, and the installer will update. And if I add new desktops, it'll add them right there on the spot, and you'll be able to continue on. Okay, but like I said, I am a lone developer in this project, and all this work, it's time consuming. It takes a lot of time, and I've mentioned this a few times in the videos. I'm not really that much of a coder, but I get an idea in my head, and I don't know, something triggers to where I have to go through it and get it done. I just get these ideas in my head. This is one of the main reasons why I moved the builder to a separate project. The builder now is a standalone project that works, and ever since I made it a standalone project, you can see that it works even better now. It works a whole lot better now. So that's going to be my goal with this also, to have, like I said, a single ISO that can constantly be updated and get the job done. All right, so this small video right here, this is just a preview of what's coming in LinuxHub version 3.0.9. And like I said, that's going to come in November. So it's only we got a week left till November. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be released on November 1st or anything like that, but it will come in November, and hopefully I have everything ironed out. Another one of the updates also is that the PAMAC installer is going to automatically have the AUR support already. You won't have to, enable it. It'll already be supported. So that's one thing. Of course, you have Paru and Yay and the chaotic AUR. So basically, your install options are all over the world. You can pretty much install anything the way I have LinuxHub Prime set up. But you know how it is. I'm a lone developer. On my end, everything seems to be working so far, but on my end, I am dealing just with my system. I need this to be tested on other systems so I can see if there's any changes. For example, bare metal, it needs to be tested on bare metal. That way I know if on bare metal, the results are the same as on a virtual machine. There's a lot of things at play that need to be ironed out. And being a lone developer and me not really getting any help as far as anyone telling me, what problems they're having, it on my end, it works. And on your end, if it doesn't work, I need to know that it doesn't work. I need you to tell me that it doesn't work. That way I can work on it. If you don't tell me it doesn't work on your end, then how am I supposed to know? Because on my end it does work. So I need you to tell me on your end if it does or does not work. That way I can work on it. All right, you guys. Don't want to make this video too long. Just want to explain basically what's coming in the next release of LinuxHub Prime. And this is going to be the big one right here. This is why I focused on this right here. It's the update Prime installer, because this is going to basically change the installer on the fly so that it will work. All right, you guys. If you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. If you like the video you just saw, please hit that like button. If you didn't like the video, you know me, hit that dislike button. It's all good in the hood. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for this video, and I'm out.